Hey foodies, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm whipping up one of my favorite go-to meals, and that's chicken and pasta as well as some green beans during my lunch break today while I'm working from home. And yes, I said I'm cooking this meal during my lunch break, so that means that this can be cooked in less than an hour. Now, granted, I'm making this meal for me and the hubby, and we are empty nesters, but guess what? That means we're gonna have leftovers for the next day. So I'm going to start off with 4 chicken breasts that I've already rinsed off and I've trimmed as much as I can. And I'm going to add some olive oil to this. I usually add olive oil before I add my seasonings to my different meats. And that's just to make sure that the seasoning is sticking on there really well, kind of like a binder. I'm using the Weber's grilled kicking chicken as well as the Spanglish Asadero Polo Asado seasoning. These are some very good seasonings. You can find this at your local grocery store, Walmart, Amazon. I'll also include a link in my description. I'm also using some oregano, and you can use any brand of that as you want. And I'm looking at this, and this is coming out very lightly, so I'm going to eventually take the top off and pour some more in there. So in the pan, I'm adding some olive oil, and that's just to make sure that it's not sticking to the pan when I add the chicken in there. And I have the temperature on like a medium low, and I'm going to cook these chicken breasts for 5 minutes on each side. And so I'm basically going to turn it over 3 times. So 5 minutes on one side, 5 minutes on the other side, and then I'm going to wait after those 5 minutes and flip it over again. So it's basically flipping it over 3 times. And once these are done cooking for an additional 5 minutes, I'm going to take them out and put them in a bowl so they can just be sitting to the side while I cook the next batch of chicken breasts. And once I put these chicken breasts in, I also have like a pot of water that's boiling because I want to get that prepared for the pasta that I'm going to be making later. So in this pan, I'm going to add some butter and I'm going to add some olive oil. And I use the olive oil with the butter just to help ensure that the butter doesn't burn while it's heating up. So as you can see, I'm letting that butter run through the pan, and I'm just going to add some olive oil to that. And again, that's just to help keep the butter from burning. And also it stretches out the flavor too. So next thing that I'm adding here is some minced garlic. You can chop up some garlic if you want, but I'm using minced garlic. You will rarely see me actually mince some garlic by hand. Usually I'm using what is available in the store. I'm also adding some chicken base, or you can use chicken bouillon. That is about 1 to 2 tablespoons. And so I'm going to let those seasonings melt together before I add the spinach. And as you notice, that second batch of chicken breast I just flipped over. So again, you're doing that like every 5 minutes. So next I'm going to add in my spinach, and I've rinsed the spinach off already, and I'm just going to add about 3 handfuls of baby spinach. And of course with baby spinach, that's going to cook down. That's one of the things I hate about spinach. It has a really good flavor, but when it cooks down, I mean, it cooks down very low. It's like you barely put anything in there. So I'm using again like about 3 handfuls of baby spinach inside of this pan. So the next thing I'm going to add is some milk as well as some heavy cream. I ended up adding like about a cup of milk and about a cup and a half of heavy whipping cream. And that's just to get that creamy texture. I'm using both kinds of milk because I am lactose intolerant. So for me, I usually use 2% milk, especially if I'm adding like a heavy cream to that. But usually in my household, I'm having 2% milk. I'm also adding 1 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning and 1 teaspoon of Spanish paprika. You can use any type of paprika that you have in your home. I'm also using 1 teaspoon of black pepper. So I'm going to stir all that together. And then the next thing that I'm going to add in here is some Parmesan cheese. Now I'm using the canned Parmesan cheese. If you have fresh Parmesan cheese, that's fine. Again, I'm looking for convenience, so I'm not shredding that. Oh, look, I'm turning over that chicken breast again. That should be the last time that I'm flipping it. So yeah, here's the grated Parmesan cheese that I'm adding there. And I want to say, when it was all said and done, when I was doing this, it may be about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of Parmesan cheese, but you can add as much as you like in regards to what you want your um, sauce to be flavored as. And of course, you should be tasting this as you are mixing all the seasonings together. If you need more salt, add it. If you need more pepper, add it. You can also add some Italian seasoning or either some oregano to this mixture too. So now on to the pasta. The water is finally boiling and I'm adding penne pasta. You can use like a spaghetti noodle, maybe a rotini noodle, or a malfadine noodle. I've done that before too. It's like the little, it looks like sliced lasagna noodles. That's really cool too, and it tastes great also. So I have my chicken breast out. I am slicing and dicing. And I know that a lot of people, at least when I'm watching like cooks online or on different social media platforms, they kind of shy away from using chicken breast. They use like a chicken thigh, and I believe it's because they want to make sure that it's moist and juicy. But as you can see, like with these chicken breasts, they are still very moist and juicy. And again, I believe it's because I cooked it on a medium low, and that's allowing the chicken breast to cook, slowly and thoroughly. And again, so that it's nice and juicy. So there's like juicy bits all over that cutting board. And I tell you, it was very good. I had to taste a few pieces while I was making the video too, before I added it to the pasta. Now the penne pasta is kind of thick, so I let that boil for at least 7 minutes before taking it out. I don't want it cooked all the way because I want this pasta sauce to also cook it too, because it's still going to be boiling. So it may have been about 7 minutes that I had cooked this pasta, and I'm using like a strained ladle to put the pasta in there. And again, stirring the sauce up so that everything is covered. And I want that sauce to be loose because again, it's going to be sitting, it's going to end up eventually in the refrigerator, and I want that sauce to still be kind of loose and not too thick, while I'm cooking it right now. So I've added the sauce as well as the pasta into another pan, and I'm now adding the chicken breast on top. So once I finish adding the chicken breast, I'm going to sprinkle some parsley as well as some crushed red pepper flakes. And it does add a little heat to it, so if you don't want any crushed red pepper flakes, of course you can omit that too. Now the last thing that we're going to make is the green beans. I'm using frozen green beans. These are not fresh, but they're just as good. And I'm technically just going to saute them in the pan. So as you saw, I added some olive oil to the pan. I could have added some more minced garlic to it, but I'm going to skip that for this right now. And I'm adding the green beans, and I have this on a medium heat. And that's just going to allow the green beans to cook up pretty quickly. Again, it's like a saute or stir fry to this. I'm also adding the Kinder's grilled veggie seasoning. That's one of my favorite seasoning for the veggies. It can be corn, it can be potatoes. That's just one of my favorite seasonings to add. So I'm going to let this cook for about another 2 minutes before I add some garlic butter to it. And I'm also going to add some more of that grated Parmesan cheese as well as some crushed red pepper flakes, which is optional. That's up to you. And yeah, you're going to cook this for like another 5 minutes and then it's done. So shout out to everyone who subscribed to this channel. Thank you for coming back and cooking with me again. If you're new here, my name is Angela and this is my channel Plus Size in Chicago, where I make a lot of easy to cook comfort food meals. You'll also see me reviewing different restaurants in the greater Chicagoland area or showing you places that I've ate or visited while on vacation. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment and share this video with your friends and family. I'll see you guys next time.